For today's video, I wanted to cover a topic that not many people are talking about, so shout out to the comment section for making me aware of this situation. Like I keep saying in every video, I do read each and every comment, but then on top of that, my friends and family also read the comment section and will actually send me screenshots to keep me even more informed of what's happening in the comments section and make me aware of things that's happening with Mortal Kombat 1. And that's actually how I became aware of this issue in Mortal Kombat 1, the comment section, so shout out to you, everyone who's constantly helping to keep me informed and up to date on the games that I love so much. As it turns out, Mortal Kombat 1 has terrible netcode in certain countries, specifically Africa, and the reason that's such a big deal is because it was not the case for Mortal Kombat 11. For that game, people in Africa could play just fine, but for whatever reason, it's not the case with Mortal Kombat 1. In fact, the netcode is terrible. I should not say bad, because bad implies that, oh, it's laggy every now and then, or every match has some delay. No, I'm talking terrible, as in borderline unplayable in many parts of Africa. I just realized I messed up and said that Africa was a country when it's a continent, so I want to fix that real quick. I know that Americans are ignorant to geography, but I'm not that ignorant, okay? Okay, back on track. In many parts of Africa, Mortal Kombat 1 is borderline unplayable online, and I'm not just talking with the rest of the world. I'm talking your neighbors. I'm talking in the same house. That's right, a video went semi-viral on social media where a player in Africa could not even connect to another PS5 in his own house. That's right, one more time I want to make this very clear. This man owned two different PlayStation 5s that were both connected to the internet, and they had a really tough time connecting a match, and when it did finally connect, the game was unplayable. We're talking like every frame took 5 seconds to come out, okay? It was super slow, which is obviously terrible. Nobody wants to sit through that, and once again, I can't emphasize this enough, it was in the man's own house with his own two separate consoles, and the game was still unplayable. And that's why the video went so viral. There's two big reasons that I'm personally upset over this. Number one, Mortal Kombat 1 is sold in these regions at the stores, and as a result, it's expected to work. If you sell a game in a country or region, then it should be implied the game can actually function online in that area. I understand sometimes regions don't actually sell certain video games, and as a result, the buyer has to go out of their way and use some kind of tricks to actually get a hold of the game, and then when they finally do get the game, it turns out that not all the services are available for that game in that area because it was never meant to be sold there. So for example, some Middle Eastern countries can't actually play Tekken online, but they can play it locally, and as a result there is a Tekken community, but they just can't play online very consistently. And that's because the game and a lot of video game hardware is not sold to that area. They have to work really hard to even get a hold of this stuff. But that is not what's happening with Africa, okay? Mortal Kombat 1 is being sold in these regions, but it just doesn't work online. And that's a really big deal, not just for playing multiplayer, but a lot of features in Mortal Kombat 1 don't even work if you don't have the online connection. For example, certain game modes like Invasion don't work if the online is bad. And it's been that way ever since Mortal Kombat 11 or even Mortal Kombat X, you can maybe argue, right? Those games wanted to be always online, but as a result, a lot of the features don't even work if the servers or netcode is bad. Even if you're playing a game mode that would otherwise be considered an offline mode, like Invasions, right? Invasions is not multiplayer at all. There's no multiplayer aspect, and yet even so, you have to be online for it to function properly or even be available. If you're playing Invasion mode and your internet goes out for any reason, it exits you out of that game mode. You just can't play it. So that's why it's such a big deal that many areas in Africa just can't connect to the servers, or at the very least have very big netcode issues. That cuts off so much of the Mortal Kombat 1 game. So that's reason number one why I'm upset. Reason number two is that Mortal Kombat 11 did not have this issue, or at least that's what I've heard. Mortal Kombat 11 worked fine for most areas in Africa. From what I've researched and what I've heard from players that live in Africa, Mortal Kombat 11's netcode and servers were completely fine, which has me a bit flabbergasted. Why is Mortal Kombat 1 having so many issues? Why is it not working? Because I understand that Mortal Kombat 1 was made with a different game engine, but even so, I don't think that should affect the servers, should it? I don't think that should affect the netcode, should it? I don't know. It's been a long time since I made video games. It's been a long time since I was a programmer, so let me know in the comments section if I'm mistaken. Why is this happening for Mortal Kombat 1 but not Mortal Kombat 11? Because once again, I'm just dumbfounded. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. I have no clue why Mortal Kombat 11 worked okay, but Mortal Kombat 1 is having so many issues. But next up, I want to make one thing clear. I don't think that NetherRealm or WB Games is doing this on purpose. I seriously doubt they would intentionally exclude Africa from their online services. Now, at the same time, I can't prove that. I can't prove there's no ill intent, extent, but I just don't see why they would purposely exclude a huge chunk of their player base. So that's the main reason I choose to believe that NetherRealm and WB are not doing this on purpose. It just seems like a bit of an oversight, an oopsie doopsie, an accident if you will. And as a result, I have faith that at some point it's going to get fixed, right? This problem has to be solved at some point in the near future. In fact, as I record this, my fingers are crossed that by the time this video goes up, maybe the problem has already been fixed. Wouldn't that be fantastic? I just want to make it clear that I'm not making this video to dunk on the developers or to insult WB. I would never do that. I've met many of these people, I've worked with these people, and they are good people. This video is not meant to be an oh my god exposed. I'm just trying to point a bit more of a spotlight on the issue because I didn't know about this issue until the comments section told me, which is kind of crazy because I cover Mortal Kombat 1 news all the time on this channel, and even I didn't know about this issue. And that's honestly the only reason I'm making this video, just so more people are aware of this issue and start talking about it. Because the more people talk about an issue, the more likely it is to get fixed a bit faster. That's just how things work in the modern day of the internet era. At the end of the day, I love Mortal Kombat 1. In fact, it's the most fun I've had with a NetherRealm game in a very long time. I personally even like it more than Mortal Kombat X. I know that's sacrilege to say, but it's how I feel. And as a result, I'm very bummed to learn how many people can't play this game. Like a huge chunk of Africa just can't play Mortal Kombat 1 online, and even if they are lucky enough to find a match, you've seen how it looks. It's like borderline unplayable, and that just breaks my heart because Mortal Kombat 1 is such a fun game. And then on top of that, the fighting game community is quite small. Don't get me wrong, it's bigger than it's ever been, but that's still quite tiny compared to other massive game franchises, right? Other genres, if you will. Even though the FGC, the fighting game community, is bigger than it's ever been, we're still tiny compared to the Fortnite player base, right? Or even the League of Legends player base, right? Or the first-person shooter genre, you get my point, right? Compared to those, our community is quite tiny. And I don't know about you, but I want to fix that. I think that's a problem. I think fighting games are the most fun video games, so they should be more popular. And that's not going to happen if we keep having these netcode issues, right? If we keep having these server issues, they have to be fixed right now, because otherwise the fighting game community is never going to reach the heights that it truly deserves to, right? This game needs to be playable everywhere. Now, for some reason, apparently Mortal Kombat 1 does work in South Africa. For whatever reason, that area is the exception. I have no clue why, but I just wanted to clarify and add that tiny bit of detail in. But now finally, it's time to make this video interactive. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Why do you think Mortal Kombat 1 is having so many server and netcode issues in Africa? Because once again, Mortal Kombat 11 was working fine in Africa, or at least that's what the comments have told me. So why is Mortal Kombat 1 having so many issues? Make sure to post your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, because like I keep saying in every one of these news videos, I really do read each and every comment. So grab that keyboard and make your voices heard. Because next up, I wanted to talk about how Mortal Kombat 1 is just not sold in some countries, because I find that really interesting and a bit hypocritical. So for example, Japan, right? For whatever reason, Mortal Kombat 1 is banned in Japan, and apparently that's because they don't like gore and violence in their media, but that has me confused because manga and anime are both in Japan, and that can get really gory sometimes. I mean, for Pete's sake, some anime and manga is so violent that it borders on a fetish at that point, right? We're in kink territory when things get that violent and gory. And don't get me wrong, Mortal Kombat is kind of like that too at this point. It's gotten a bit fetishy with the gore and violence. I understand that, but my point is, why does Japan allow one type of violent media but not another type of violent media? If anyone watching lives in Japan and knows more information about this subject, please shine a light on it. Let me understand what's going on here. Give me some clarification, if you will, because I don't understand why Japan, of all places, does not allow Mortal Kombat. I honestly do hope in the near future that Japan does finally allow NetherRealm games, because for anyone not aware, Japan is kind of known for having the best fighting game players on the planet. And of course, not everyone is the best over there, right? But consistently, there's a lot of really good players in Japan when it comes to fighting games, and I want to see how they play Mortal Kombat 1. Because believe it or not, different countries and regions do tend to have a different philosophy and strategy for how they play fighting games, which is really cool. For example, in South Korea, they play Tekken completely different to how Tekken is played in the Middle East or how Tekken is played in Japan. They all have their different strategies and tactics. And that's why I'm so salty that Mortal Kombat is banned in Japan, because I want to see how Japan would play Mortal Kombat 1. That sounds so interesting. Now that said, for some other countries, I understand that they're never going to allow Mortal Kombat, right? Like China, that ship has sailed. China is never going to allow Mortal Kombat. I understand that. But Japan, okay, I feel like Japan could be convinced to allow Mortal Kombat 1 to be sold there. Please let it happen. Come on, I want to play Mortal Kombat 1 with a player in Japan and see how different we play the game, how our skills compare and measure up against one another. So one last time, just for fun, I recommend you grab that keyboard and make your voices heard, because I really do read each and every comment. And then while you're down there, keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.